then as soon as this God will point to you, and then you recite Psalms 1.
Oh, praise Yahweh, all ye nations. Praise him, all ye people. For his mercy and kindness is great towards us. And the truth of Yahweh endure forever. Praise ye Yahweh. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Praise Yahweh. Welcome back to the House of Yahudah for the second portion of today's services. So now we're going to go ahead and get things started. And we have a treat today. And what I'm going to do is have Elijah come up here and finish reading. Earlier today, or what I'm doing now is breaking up the commandments. He'll read, or it'll be read, the first 5 commandments, which is verses 1 to 12. And that's done for in case there are any questions or anything like that. So now I'm going to have him come up and do the verses 13 to 17, the last 5 commandments. And come on up here, Elijah. Let us rise for the reading of the commandments.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
And Yahweh spake all these words, saying, I am the Almighty, the Elohim, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt not murder. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is my neighbor's. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. All right. All right. So what we basically did was earlier today, we did the first 5 commandments, and then the second portion, we do the next 5 commandments. All right. So now, without any further ado, I'm going to call up our Elder Nesha. And what she is going to do is she is going to do a presentation. And I have been waiting to hear this presentation today. So I'm going to move and let Emma have her space so we can go ahead and get this popping, because I can't wait to hear it. So without any further ado, let us rise and let us welcome Elder Emma Nesha. Praise Yah.
Thank you. You all can be seated. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises to the Almighty by saying hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Welcome, internet audience. My presentation today is going to be on what it takes to be the qualities of a good wife. And the reason I'm going to do this today is because we're going from Genesis all the way from the beginning, and we stopped on Adam and Eve. So I felt it was befitting that I talk about the woman's role as a wife. Okay. For many people, finding a good wife is a blind man's buff because they don't know the qualities of a good wife to search for. It is important to mention that knowing the qualities of a good wife will guide your search when you are ready to get one. Another reason I'm speaking on a good wife, me and my husband, he's no longer here with me, not in body, but in spirit. We had been married for, it would have been 57 years. I got married at a very young age. I was only 17 years old when I got married. And we have been together all those many years, 6 children, about 15 grandchildren, and about maybe 15 or 16 great-grandchildren. So that's why I felt like speaking on a woman's role is something that I can do very well. Women with qualities of a good wife are worthy keepers, and they deserve all the care and respect because they have the purest intentions for the home. What does it mean to be a good wife? One of the reasons why a woman is tagged a good wife is because of her readiness to make the marriage work. When the couples disagree, and trust me, you will disagree at one point or another, a good wife will follow the lead of her husband and be receptive to resolving issues. Just like it says in the scriptures. Adam with Eve, the Almighty took a word from Adam and made Eve. And he said that she would be his helpmeet, not his partner, like two men's or two women's being partners, but his helpmeet. Adam is the head and Eve is his wife. Also, a good wife understands her husband cannot be perfect. So she does not struggle to mold him into her perfect model. Rather, she adjusts to his personality and corrects his shortcomings when he errs. A good wife displays qualities not only help build a home and family, but also help her project herself as a good human being. And when you build, it's like you building. You don't tear it down. If something's not right, you look around and say, hey, I think I might need to do this to help build it. More than aiming to be a good wife, it is also essential to have positive attributes as a person, which in will reflect in your role as a wife. These qualities will help all your relationship within the family healthy and balanced. The first and foremost important thing in looking for a wife is finding a wife that is going to follow you and your lead as honoring the Almighty YAH. That is the first and foremost thing that a man needs to look for in finding a good wife. You can find a wife, and if she's not willing to honor the Almighty and His laws and commandments, you wasting your time. You can have a good wife, but if she's not willing to do that and want to go her way with JC and the other deities, you might as well say bye-bye. But if you are unsure what to look for in a good wife, specifically, here are some qualities of a good wife that will help you in the search. The first thing you might want to look for is a caring and compassionate woman. A good wife exhibits both care and compassion. She is sensitive to the family's needs and does her best to provide a solution. She understands when her husband is frustrated and tries to make him happy. Her caring disposition makes sure the family does not lack in any aspect of life. Number two, sensitive of the little things. A good wife is not oblivious to the little things that happen in the home. For instance, if a husband does something considered to be small, she does not ignore it. Rather, she warms up lovingly and appreciates him. On the other hand, if the husband is sad about something in the home, she tries her best to fix it. She makes time to spend with her husband. Some women don't spend time with their husband, using excuses like an extremely busy schedule. A good wife understands that the quality time spent maintains the spark in the marriage. So you got to keep that spark going, ladies. You got to keep looking good, smelling good. Don't walk around looking like a bag lady. Number four, encourage her husband. One important role of a wife in a man's life is acting as a source of encouragement and support. When he's feeling down, you got to support him, encourage him in both good and bad times. One of the qualities of a good wife is to encourage and show her husband that he is loved. When men experiencing challenging times, they don't see their value. However, a good wife reminds them of the great worth they possess. My husband always worked 2 jobs to take care of the family. He got sick with cancer and he started feeling some type of way. And I always encourage him to let him know, hey, you're the head of the household, and he would always try to find some ways to do things to enhance the household's income. And I encouraged him with whatever he wanted to do. I was behind him 100%. Number 5, respect her husband. A successful marriage strives on respect. If you are searching for the characteristics of a good wife, make sure she is respectful. You don't want a wife calling you all kind of names and acting out because you made a mistake about something. That's because the children, they're gonna look at that. Oh, mom's not respectful to dad. I'm not either. And so that you have to be a role model, not only for yourself and your husband, but also for your children. In addition, a good wife appreciates her husband's effort, and the husband reciprocates with respect and love. Even if he have a little restaurant job, don't put him down and say, oh, is that all you can do? Encourage him and say, oh, I am happy you got that job, and I know that something else is going to come along better where you'll be able to make more money. But if you put him down, he's going to feel like he's not worth anything, and he ain't going to even try to get nothing else. Oh, well, she ain't appreciating this anyway, so why should I even try? Number 6, put her family first. If you are thinking of what to look for in a wife, know that a good wife put her family first. The family needs and wants top her priorities, and she's not apologetic about it. A good wife goes the extra mile to ensure her home is comfortable for her husband and kids. When I was a young wife, my husband wanted me to be a stay-at-home mom. And I said, okay, I did that. So I put my family first because I had young children and we was not about to leave them with any daycare or anybody that we didn't trust. So I stayed home. I put my family first. And I stayed home until they was a certain age where I could go to school to do something to help my husband, support the family. But I wasn't apologetic about it, and I was happy to do that. Number 7, husband's best friend and lover. Me and my husband, we were best friends. We were high school lovers and best friends. We dressed alike, we ate lunch together, and we were best friends. A good wife does not cheat because her husband is her one and only lover. In addition, she should have close friends, but her husband remains her best friend. If there are any pending issues, she talks first to her husband, who doubles as her best friend. So, wife, if you have a male friend, that's one of your best friends, and if your husband don't feel comfortable with that for whatever reasons, talk to him about it and find out why. So maybe, he might think you're being too chummy. So maybe don't be so chummy all the time. Be sociable, but, don't be for the whole scenario. A good problem solver. In marriage, one of the qualities of life to look for is her willingness and ability to tackle problems. And trust me, in every marriage is going to be some type of problems. A good wife never leaves all the problems to her husband to solve, nor point accusing fingers at anyone. Say, oh, we're in this situation because of you. You don't have a good job. You're not doing this. No, you don't do that. Instead, she works together with her husband to combat these problems as a team. Treasure teamwork. That's number 9. What makes a good wife is her ability to participate as an active team player, just like on a basketball team. Even if you are a good shooter from the side, you got to be able to pass to the other guy. If you see you can't make it, don't be a ball hog and want to think you can do it all. it takes teamwork to have a good team. Right, Yehudah?
Yep.
She does not leave her husband to tackle any issues alone. Rather, she contributes her quota and she acknowledges her husband's effort. A good wife knows that effort keeps the marriage intact as everything goes smoothly. Number 10, don't infringe on her husband's personal space. Like Mike, you have to have your personal space sometimes. A good wife understands that everyone needs their personal space. I know with my son Joel, and I know if you're listening, he had his own personal man cage, is what you call it. He had his own little room. He went in there and did his own thing. And you say, okay, he in there, I'm gonna leave him alone. When she noticed her husband needs some alone time, she respects his decision. She is also clairvoyant, and she knows the right time to warm up to her husband and cheer him up. So if you're together with a man for any length of time, you can know when he don't want to be bothered or something that you be like, okay, I'm gonna leave him alone. Because if you go trying to talk to him at the wrong time, you might get your head bit off, and it might not be about you. It might be something that he went through during the day. So leave him alone, let him calm down, and when you see he's more mellow, then go and approach him. Number 11, she is romantic. This is a good one, right? This is a good one right here. Loving couples hugging together, corner in the room with a hot air balloon. When it comes to romance, a good wife knows how to integrate into her marriage. She plans surprises and does little things that catches her husband unaware. She is sensitive to her husband's needs and levels this to make romantic gestures. I don't have to tell you ladies what to do or how to do it. You should know how to do that on your own. Number 12, she avoids pretense. A good wife is always true to herself and her words. She isn't a copycat. Don't try to copy off your friend that does this. Be original. Your husband won't want no copycat anyway. Although she has mentors and role models, and she remains authentic and her true self because that's what matters to her husband and her marriage. Number 13, communication effectively. That is a big problem with couples. They do not know how to communicate with each other. Being a good wife requires the input of effective communication. When there are issues in the marriage, she tries to keep an open communication instead of being silent about it. She prevents her husband from getting her mind and preponderous ways to move forward. So if there's something going on and he's asking you something, don't take the position of I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to let him have his way. Well, he can't read your mind. He's not a mind reader. And then when that happens and you don't get the problem resolved, then there's bickering back and forth between you and him because you feel one way, he didn't know how you feel, you didn't tell him. So always have an open line of communication. Number 14, bring out the best in her husband. One of the important attributes of a good wife is her ability to ensure her husband attains his best potential. She provides her husband with the commitment and support he needs to conquer grounds. She knows how powerful his position is in the family, and she uses it to her husband and home's advantage. For instance, if he's good at something, say, why don't you go and take this up? Encourage him. And that help motivate him to do something else in addition to, like I was saying, maybe he at a restaurant job and he's good at fixing things. You might want to go and try to learn how to be a mechanic. Say, why don't you go ahead and maybe want to take a course online or something like that in the evening. Always be there to motivate him, and he also should be motivating you as well. She gives a listening ear. When I say a listening ear, when he's talking, you don't have him on the radio or trying to look at your soap opera or the kids running around and he's talking and after he's through talking, you say, "Oh, what did you say?" No, that's not right. One of the traits of a good wife is her ability to give a listening ear because she knows it aids effective communication. Hence, instead of just hearing, she listens to understand her husband. When her husband wants to discuss with her, she keeps all distractions at bay to focus. Number 16, celebrate her husband's achievements. One of his I have to get me a job so I could be a manager, so I want to make as much money as he makes. Do that. Rather, she appreciates him and acknowledges his efforts. If there are children, she seizes the opportunity to use her husband's success to motivate him. Oh, look at what Dad is doing. He just got his insurance license. Now, if he can do it, whatever you want to do, you can do it. She is honest. A man can only trust his wife when she has proved to be honest and at countless times. Lasting marriages are built on honesty and effective communication. There's a twist to being honest. You don't have to say anything plainly. For instance, if you don't like his shoes, you can replace them by getting and you don't want to hurt his feelings. You can go out and buy him and say, "Hey, look what I got for you today." You're like, "Oh, I like these. I like these better than these." Oh, he said, "Oh, I like better. I like these old rundown ones that I've been wearing." Creative in bed. Generally, men love women who are good, important qualities of a good wife in a relationship. Well, I think my husband thought so because when I was 17, by the time I got to be 22, I had 5 children. So, not just saying. A good woman does research on how to satisfy her husband in bed. She doesn't look outside. If her husband loves a certain sex style, she masters it and give him the best in bed. Hallelujah. Can't tell you women what to do, but I mean, hey, cute little outfits you can wear when you get ready to come in there. You're good, looking good. And, okay, no more to be said. Okay, his spiritual life is top notch. A wife takes her spiritual life seriously because she knows it is beneficial to her husband. I already talked about that in home. She prays for her husband at home and she meditates regularly. Also, she ensures her husband is doing well spiritually because it helps them bond better in faith. Remain positive to her husband at home. When things are looking bleak in the home, a good wife knows she has to maintain a positive attitude for the atmosphere to remain cool. In addition to remaining cool, she keeps the home in a good shape, even when it's frustrating. There was a time when my husband lost his job, I lost my job. This was all in October night. It was in 1983. My mother passed. I lost my job. My husband lost his job, and things looked really bleak. And I motivated my husband. I told him, I said, "We're at the bottom, but once you're at the bottom, when you're bouncing a ball, the only way to come is up." And we came up. We came up from the bottom to getting a home. After 18 years, we had another son. So there's no way to go but up. And in conclusion, above all, one of the qualities of a good wife is knowing that her home has to be a safe place for the family to grow, play, and live. Hence, she is unrelenting in achieving this. And if you are searching for the best wife qualities, the attributes in this article will guide you in making the right choices. decisions. When you see a woman you like, hold intelligent conversations around these qualities of a good woman or wife to provide an insight into the kind of person she is. And with that, I say thank you for listening. Shabbat Shalom. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Right. Praise Yah. Now I see why Elder Ezekiel is always smiling. Always smiling. All right. That's right. That's right. Praise Yahweh. That's beautiful. That was a good presentation.
Thank you.
Praise Yahweh. No, thank you. Praise Yahweh. Because you can't talk enough about the sanctity of marriage. And it's important because marriage is always looked at as just something to do nowadays. Let's just get married. Why? Why do you want to get married? And marriage takes work. You got to work in marriage. You know, sometimes you see couples, they make it look easy, but that's what on the outer. If you was a fly on their wall, you would see that they're struggling. Like you said, a lot of the struggles, like you said, is finance. Insecurity is a big one. If you don't make your husband or your wife feel secure, you know what I'm saying? And that's what get me. You know, brothers be like, you hear them. I'm talking about Israelite brothers. They be like, man, every 5 minutes, she banging on the bathroom door. Like, what you doing in there? What you doing in there? And you ask, like, well, why? Well, I do be on the phone with my girlfriend. Well, that's why she insecure. Well, a man can have more than one wife. Well, be a man and tell her. And learn to keep the peace in your home. If your wife tell you we ain't having no second wife, it don't make you no less of a man to say, all right, baby. Okay. I'll let y'all bring it. Like what we was at the House of Israel just not too long ago during our break. And Moray Naphtali was like, man, let Yahweh bless you. What I need with 20 wives. We make our women insecure and then we complain about how they act. Stop making them insecure. Praise Yahweh. Right, so next what we're going to have is the Lions of Yahudah come up. They're going to do a song for us to praise the Almighty. So come on up to the G's. I was trying to think of a cool way how y'all be calling each other up. We used to call each other G's.
When Yah is on your side, you do not have to cry. Just call his holy name. He is worthy to be praised. Praise Yah for the day, praise Yah for the night. Praise Yahweh with all your might. You can't be afraid to praise Yahweh. He's all that we got to the end of the day. When I wake up and when I go to sleep, I think about Yah, the true Elohim. If you ain't scared, everybody stand up. Repeat after me and put your hands up.
Yeah.
When Yah is on your side, you do not have to cry. Just call his holy name. He is worthy to be praised. Praise Yah.
Sing another one. Sing another one. Do another one.
One more.
Praise Yah in the morning. Praise him till the night. Praise Yah in the noonday. In the bright of light. Praise Yah in the evening. Before I go to bed. Praise Yah while I'm sleeping. I hear his person running through my head. I'm praising Yah all the time because I really love him. I am so glad that he's mine.
and I am his. His name is Yah Elohim. No greater power can be. I keep his laws every day, and he takes good. And he takes good care of me. I keep his laws every day, and he takes good care of me. Praise Yah in the morning, praise him till the night. Praise Yah in the noonday, and the bright sunlight. Praise Yah in the evening, before I go to bed. Praise Yah while I'm sleeping, and his presence running through my head. I'm praising Yah all the time, because I really love him. I am so glad that he's mine, and I am his. His name is Yah Elohim. No greater power can be. I keep his laws every day, and he takes good care of me. I keep his laws every day, and he takes good care of me. I keep his laws every day, and he takes good care of me.
Thank you. Shabbat shalom. I'm just going to speak a little bit before Moray Mike comes back. We left off last week in Genesis chapter 2. I'm going to talk about verse 24, the first marriage, which states, "Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh." Speaking about that, when a man get married, he leaves his mother and he cleaves to his wife. It doesn't mean that you leave your parents and still cleave to your mother, your wife, and you should be as one, not two. Then the next verse says, "And they were both naked, the man and his wife, and they were not ashamed." So we're going to be starting, Moray Mike is back, and I think we're going to be starting at Genesis chapter 3, which talks about the temptation. So I will be calling Moray Mike to take us through Genesis chapter 3, the temptation. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I had to step away for a moment because I had to put some lotion on my hands. Didn't want to be teaching and look like, don't nobody love him? They let him look like that? So, praise Yahweh. Thank you. Thank you for filling in. Thank you for them songs too. So, y'all willing, when y'all here, y'all gonna do 2 songs. I don't care which 2 y'all do. Y'all gonna do 2 songs. And y'all voices getting strong too. If y'all need a manager, holla at me. Praise Yahweh. And Elijah gonna sing for us, y'all. Whether probably next week he gonna sing a song. Say no.
I'm fine.
No, I'm good, brother. I'm all right, brother. I'd rather learn. All right. Well, that was good. Praise Yahweh. Before I get into the book of Genesis, I want to say shalom, shalom, and thank you for tuning back in with us. But last week, there were some scriptures that I wanted to go over, and I didn't have in mind, but I got them now. So let's turn to the book of Leviticus, chapter 5. Let's turn to the book of Leviticus, chapter 5. If you have any questions or any comments you want to make, type them in. If you have any questions that that may not be relevant to the lesson, that is absolutely fine. I have no problem with that at all. Excuse me, guys. I apologize. If you have any questions or anything like that, please feel free. Yeah, thank you. Please feel free to ask them, and we'll go over them. If we have time, we'll go over the questions. Now, last week I had talked about sin. And it was actually off of a question, but basically, when it comes to sinning, say, for example, I'm going to use this example. Say a woman was unclean, and you just sat behind her, and you didn't know she was unclean. Well, because you didn't know she was unclean, during the time that you were in your state of not knowing, are you held accountable for that sin? Because you didn't know.
No.
You didn't know.
Oh no.
So in the book of Leviticus chapter 5, here you go, son. In the book of Leviticus chapter 5, so you start reading at the very first verse. And we're only going to read a few verses out of this chapter.
And if a soul sin and hear the voice of swearing and is a witness, whether he has seen or know of it, if he do not utter it, then he shall bear his iniquity.
Okay, now that verse there, I'm going to do some studying up on to find out what that is and what that is actually talking about so I can get some clarity on it, and then I'll be able to better explain it. That verse there. So go ahead and read the second verse.
Or if a soul if a soul touch any unclean thing, whether it be a carcass of an unclean beast, or a carcass of an unclean cattle, or the carcass of an unclean creeping thing, and if it be hidden from him, he also shall be unclean and guilty.
Now, check this out. Now, if he touches something that's unclean, a carcass is dealing specifically with something that is died. It's not dealing with a live creature. So if you touch a pig and it's alive, you're not unclean. You're not unclean by touching a pig and it's alive. Now, if you touch the pig and it died, at that point the body is no longer existing. So it's a carcass at that point. The flesh of that animal, whatever. If you touch it when it's dead, then that's when you face the uncleanness. All right, and you are unclean at that point. Now, go to verse number 3.
Or if he touch the uncleanness of man, whatsoever uncleanness it be, that a man shall be defiled with it, and it be hid from him, when he knoweth of it, then he shall be guilty.
There we go. That's the key point. This is dealing with the uncleanliness of man. This isn't just men, but women as well. So when you find out about the uncleanliness, that is when you're guilty. When you find out, hey, that chair she sat in was unclean when she sat there. Once you find that out, then you got to take then that's when you go through your cleansing process, your bathing of the flesh. Once you find out about it. Now, sometimes what I do is I'll come home, especially on the 6th day of the week. And the 6th day of the week normally falls on Friday, because Saturday is the 7th day of the week. Yeah. So sometimes it depending on if I've been around any females, I might just go home and take a bath anyway, just in case. Just in case. But let's say you don't make it home, no woman is going to tell you, and I'm using that as an example, no woman or no man is going to tell you, yeah, man. And let's look at some things that will make a man unclean. Hold this Leviticus 5. Let's look at some things that will make a man unclean, and turn to the book of Leviticus chapter 15. We're going to look at a few things. Now, one thing, of course, is universal, the touching of a dead, unclean animal. All right. Now, what if you touch a dead chicken? Well, chicken's not unclean. So you're not clean. You're not unclean. Or what if you touch a dead lamb? Well, that lamb is not unclean. Like say you have to kill it. If you got to kill the chicken or the turkey, or you got to kill because those are clean animals. So you can touch them. That's why you won't read after a lamb was dressed, meaning that once it was slaughtered and made and cooked, you won't read where the person who killed the lamb had to bathe their flesh and wash their clothes. However, if it was an unclean animal and it died, then that's the process we would have to take, only if the animal is unclean. All right. Now, the uncleanness, we're going to read about some things of dealing with uncleanness. So in the book of Leviticus chapter 15, will you start reading at the first verse, please? Leviticus chapter 15.
And Leviticus 15, chapter 15. And Yahweh spake all unto Moses and to Aaron, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, When any man have a running issue out of his flesh because of his issue, he is unclean.
Now, what is the running issue? Yes.
The copulation.
Nope.
See the copulation.
Nope.
Well,
This is dealing with an STD, a sexually transmitted disease. I did some research. The only sexually transmitted disease that would have been around during this time was later given the name gonorrhea or burning. You know, no, not burning, but gonorrhea comes with a discharge. It smells. It's a discharge that comes with gonorrhea. And that's one of the oldest sexually transmitted diseases. That's what this is dealing with. This is dealing with a man who has an STD. Yes, sir. Because if you got a running issue, think about it. What man is walking around just dripping copulation and not stimulated? You just see a man walking down the street, number 10. You know what I'm saying? I was just saying, you're like, that ain't happening, bro. It's not happening unless it's something wrong. So it wouldn't be copulation. That's something that's usually caused by a form of stimulation. Sometimes, you know, it takes action for that. But a running issue is something different. Yes, sir. When it says a running issue, it's something that's constant. Go ahead.
yeah, like, and you know what? You know, I still have this like when I do go to this cleaning process in the past, I still have trouble with it. Like, I mean, that's because that's on me. Some of the time it's on me, but
You open it up a lot to us, brother.
no,
my brother.
This happens to every boy. I mean,
Yeah, it does happen to it does.
I mean, so is it really open?
Well, here's the thing. No, I'm messing with you about that because I want you to laugh more. You so grimace. But here's the thing. It happens to you, but are you constantly?
No.
See, that's what a running issue is. See, it's going to talk about the seed of copulation later on in this chapter, but this ain't it right now. This is dealing with someone who has a running issue. And this is dealing with a sexually transmitted disease. Because do we think that whoredom started just now? No. Sexually transmitted diseases have always been around. And this one ever is the one that's given the name of gonorrhea. And what that does is that causes a running issue. And what's the running issue? The pus. It's like a something that oozes from a man's genital area. Don't speak, this is dealing with a man. And it does that. And there were ways of how they stopped it then, but now it's stopped by penicillin and certain antibiotics now. But this here is a running issue, meaning it's constant, which means that it constantly is going. You understand? And this here is dealing specifically with a running issue. Now, this is one of the reasons I'm reading this is because I'm giving an example of one of the reasons of how a man can become unclean. That's one way, sexually transmitted disease, by having this running issue. This is talking about if a man has a running issue. And this is how deep it is. Now, read the second verse, or read the third verse. No, I'm sorry. Read the first. Start at verse 1 again.
And Almighty spake unto Moses and to Aaron, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, when any man have a running issue out of his flesh, because of his issue, he is unclean. And this shall be his uncleanliness in his issue, whether his flesh run with his issue, or his flesh be stopped from his issue. It is his uncleanness.
Now, some might would think, well, is this talking about urine? Because there are some people who have incontinence issues and they use the bathroom on themselves. No, this is not talking about that. This is talking about someone who has a sickness down there. When it's dealing with an issue, it's dealing with a sickness. And that issue here is dealing with a sexually transmitted disease. If you have bladder issues, I had one brother, we had a conversation, and it was a really good point he was bringing out, was the fact of he didn't come to class. Well, some people feel like blood is an issue. They say, well, blood is an issue. Some women may feel like if they get a cut and they bleed, well, they're unclean. No, that's not the type of blood that's being mentioned here that we'll read about later. That's different. That's a cut. You're going to bleed. All right. Now, when it comes to this running issue here, this is dealing specifically with a sexually transmitted disease. Are there any questions or any comments on what I just said? Go ahead, son.
What does it mean to, like, when it's stopped?
That means it stopped. There's no more, there's nothing else running. It stops. It's sort of like if you get a runny nose and you take medicine or you do something to help decongest yourself and it stops. No more runny nose. That's the same with this. Except this is a lot deeper than just a runny nose. This is actually dealing with someone who contracted a sexually transmitted disease. And like I said, the name of that disease, the one that's the oldest one out, is the one that's known as gonorrhea, which comes with the running issue.
And that's AKA.
I don't know the yeah, it's an STD. Yes, this is dealing with a sexually transmitted disease. Now, can a man have damage to his stones, his area, and have a running issue? That could be a case as well. That could be a case as well. Could that be a running issue? He had damage down there, so he has pus and stuff coming. So could that be also there? And I'm saying that now because it literally just now hit me that maybe what if someone is damaged down there and they have an ongoing running issue? But all my study that I had on this was only dealing with sexually transmitted disease. So I'm going to also, y'all willing to look into studying if someone has their members damaged, because it can happen. Because there was a guy, I was watching this court show, and this guy had went to this baseball, the batting cage, and he was in the wrong part of the batting cage, and a ball, they shoot him out the cannon, and these are real baseballs, and they coming at you fast. Well, it came at him. He was standing somewhere he wasn't supposed to. The ball came at him and basically obliterated his scrotum. He's got a limp and everything. It obliterated his scrotum. Now, I haven't done research to see if that carries a running issue or not. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to study that, and we'll come back to that again, because that might also be part of a running issue as well. But right here, right now, we're going to deal with the fact of that this is dealing with a sexually transmitted disease. Yes, sir.
I was reading on that one time with the broken thing broken stones. And you don't like your private member cut off. Actually, I was reading on that in Deuteronomy. He wasn't even allowed in the congregation if that happened.
Yeah, because you were considered what's known as a eunuch. And what happened during that time is a lot of kings who didn't want you around. You know, you were going to be around his queens and his concubines or whatever. So what he would do is, if you were going to be working with the women, you would be castrated, which means, and to castrate means they just basically cut off your main organ, or they crush them. Because there was some that would crush the man's scrotum. And when you crush the scrotum, you're not producing nothing. And it's basically no good. And they were called eunuchs. The Almighty's house, the Almighty also says that a eunuch will be eventually, no more will you call yourself a dry tree. That one day he will allow them in. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we're going to work with here. So this is a way that a man can be unclean and having a sexually transmitted disease. And this is dealing with one of the things that I can definitely say that this is dealing with is gonorrhea, the running issue. All right. Another way that a man can become unclean is, let's look at go down to number 16. We're still in Leviticus 15. Go to number 16. So the first way that I brought out a sexually transmitted disease such as gonorrhea, a man can be unclean. He's unclean for 7 days. All right. Everywhere he sits, everywhere he lies on, even if he spits on a person, you know, because sometimes people talk and they spit on you. Well, guess what? If that spit get on you, you're unclean. That's how in depth that uncleanness is. Well, let's read about it. Why talk about it? Let's just read about it. So finish reading. So we read about you deal with verse 3. Now we're going to go into when that man has the running issue, what's unclean to him. Start at verse 4.
Every bed whereon he lieth that hath the issue is unclean, and everything whereon he sitteth shall be unclean.
So he in the bed, he has the running issue, it's running, it's dripping onto the sheets, onto the bed, whatever the issue is on is unclean. Wherever he sits, it's unclean. Now some may say, come on, man, but what if you don't see anything? Here's the thing though. When you're dealing with uncleanness, the Almighty does not fond. He is not fond of uncleanness. The Almighty created us to be a pure people. But of course, things happen to us that cause us to be unclean. So there are certain guidelines that we have to follow in order to be clean. That's why it's good to always be a bather, to always take your showers, take your baths. But in the cases of cleansing yourself from a woman being on her cycle, or a man having the seed of copulation leave him, or a running issue, you have to bathe yourself. All right, and we're going to get into that real quick. So it says in verse 4, every bed whereon he lieth that hath an issue is unclean, and everything whereon he sits shall be unclean. Because even in the midst, you may not see anything at that moment, but I've seen where women have come on their flowers and left it in the chair. Because sometimes it can happen to a woman to where she didn't know that it was coming. Because some women can clock when they're having their cycle. Sometimes a woman's cycle can be so off that she'll be like, I didn't know that happened. I've seen it. It's happened to some of the young girls who may have their cycle for the first time and they was not feeling well, and then get up, boom, it's blood. So it happens. You understand? The Almighty tells us he don't want us to sit behind anyone with those types of uncleannesses. Read verse 5. And if there are any questions as I'm going, or if there's anything you want to add to the conversation, go right ahead. Praise Yahweh.
And whosoever touches his bed shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water and be unclean until the even.
Bathe in water. I looked up the word bathe. The word bathe is that it's a question on there. Thank you. The word bathe deals with you are submerged, or you're surrounded by water. This is not talking about taking a shower. Y'all blessed me with some great information. When it talks about bathing, that means you're actually sitting in water. You're actually in water. You're not taking a shower. You're in water. So when he says bathe yourself in water, he didn't say sprinkle. And when you look up the word bathe, showering is not here. Right here, when he talks about if you touch anything, if you touch his bed, that's dealing bathing. That's specifically talking about getting in a tub of water or a body of water and bathing yourself. You understand? We could go to the River Jordan, for example, that prominent man who was stricken with leprosy. The prophet told him, dip yourself in the River Jordan 7 times. Bathe in the water. Dip yourself. Bathe in the water. It didn't say he took a shower. No, he went to the River Jordan, dipped himself in, and then he came out, his leprosy was gone. So when it comes to taking a bath and when it comes to bathing, that's exactly what the Almighty is very specific. Take a bath. I know some people will be like, man, the Almighty wouldn't want us to be in the tub because it'll leave a ring. You'll leave a ring in the tub. You don't want us in that mess. The Almighty told us to take a bath. I'm not deviating from that, not adding nor taking away from it. Yes, sir.
Sister Beulah said, if you have pets, can your pet make you unclean? Or that law of unclean just for the people?
Sister Beulah, shalom, shalom, shalom. That is a beautiful question. So let's say you got a female dog. And guess what? Some female dogs, they come on, they have their flowers too. They do. So let's see. Can a female dog make me unclean when she's on her flowers? Yes, sir.
No, because in this chapter it's not mentioned, so we can't just put it there. So it's not mentioned, and so for right now, I don't know.
I would have to agree with you.
It's not mentioned.
This is talking about man. This ain't talking about the dog. But that was a good question, Sister Beulah, but no. If your dog is unclean or on there impurities, I'm not saying go and lay up under it and play around with it, because usually I'm assuming that when the female is on her uncleanliness, but no, that's only for, now the only time that it will be unclean for you to touch that dog is if it was dead. Other than it being on its period and all that, this law wasn't given to man to the animals. It was given from man to man. So I hope I answered your question, Sister Beulah. This law dealing with uncleanliness, in the sense of that, is dealing with the fact of man on man, meaning man, woman, 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 man, man, on man. So I hope I answered your question, sister. And if I didn't, please, if you need me to explain any further, please share, because we got time. All right, thank you for reading that for me too, man. Thank you. So, the first portion of Leviticus 15 is dealing with the fact of a man having a running issue. And like I said, when I did some study on this, this was dealing with a sexually transmitted disease such as gonorrhea. However, y'all willing to do some more research to see if a man has a running issue if his members have been damaged. So I'm gonna check on that as well. All right. So now what I want you to do is go to verse 16. Now here's another way that a man can become unclean.
And if any man's seed of copulation go out from him, then he shall wash all his flesh in water and be unclean until the even. And every garment and every skin whereon is the seed of copulation shall be washed with water and be unclean until the even.
Read 18 too.
The woman also with whom man shall lie with seed of copulation, They shall both bathe themselves in water and be unclean until the evening.
Very good. Now, the seed of copulation, to be as discreet as I possibly can, that's exactly what it is. That is when a man ejaculates. That is when and when he does ejaculate, that is grow up. But when he does do that, the Almighty says that is unclean. So let's say that you in the bed, you had a dream. It happens, don't it, fellas? Look at him. It don't happen to me, man. I'm too much a player. In my dreams, I'm a player. I'll make it happen to them. No, but I love you, man. But when it happens, it happens. It happens to grown men. It happens to young men. So once it comes out, once you get up, like, uh-oh, you get up. If it's on your sheets, if it's on your pillows, if it's on your blanket, you get up. When you get up, you take your clothes or whatever the seed of copulation is on, you put it in the washer. If you got a washing machine, you put it in water. You wash your blankets. You wash your whatever the seed of copulation is on. Because who knows? You might have had a wild dream. And next thing you know, it's all on your headboard. Right? You got to wash your stuff. You wash your things. You understand? You got to wash it. You put it in the washing machine. And you wash it in water. And then you go and take a bath. Now, when it talks about the woman which the seed of copulation is on, sometimes it happens. But even if the seed of copulation is put in, I'm trying to be discreet, is put inside the woman, then guess what? She still has to take a bath because the seed of copulation is in her from you. So she still bathes her flesh. And she's unclean due to the seed of copulation. Yes, sir.
Sister Sydney said, Shalom, I know this is off topic, but I have a question.
Sure.
Scripture says that we were made a little lower than the angels. Do you think that applies to all angels because there were some bad ones?
Yes. Here's the thing. When the Almighty says he made us a little lower than the angels, even though there were some angels who were not good, they still are considered angelic beings. They're still considered, was it malak? I think that's the Hebrew word for it. They're still considered hosts of the hosts of heaven. They still do a job for the Almighty, even if they're wicked angels. See, the term, when the Almighty said he made it, when that scripture reads, he made us a little lower than the angels, that wasn't meant that we were made in the image of, what he's saying is he made us just a little lower than angels. What he is saying is, you're not an angel, but I made you close enough. He didn't specifically say if it was good angels or bad angels. He simply said, I made you a little lower than the angels. That verse in that Psalms is such a beautiful verse because it should add a sense of confidence, not arrogance, but confidence. To say, man, Yahweh made me close, and his angels, because when you read about the angels in the scriptures, when they presented themselves and the men of the Almighty knew who they were, what did the men of the El do? They bowed. They bowed themselves because they knew that these beings were of Yahweh. And Yahweh said he made us just a little lower than the angel. Just a little lower than the angel. Once again, just a little lower. And that's not a derogatory statement. That's not a statement to make you feel low. That's a statement to let you know that you are heavenly. I created you in the image of my heavenly hosts. We're this close to malaks. We're this close to angels. That's how he made us. We just dwell on earth. He made us this close. So the next time somebody talk about your big nose, somebody talk about your big lips, next time somebody talk about you too skinny, next time somebody talk about you too black, next time somebody talk about you too tall, you too short. If you a servant of Yahweh, Remember that verse. Man, Yahweh made me a little lower than an angel. So forget your little view of me. Yahweh made me he made me perfect. I'm perfect in the design that he created. He made me just a little lower than an angel. With that mindset, don't that make you want to straighten up a little bit? Let me fix myself. Let me get myself right. Let me fix my spirit. Let me do this. Let me get my mind right. Because Yahweh said he made me a little lower than an angel. So walk with your head up high. Just walk like this. Stop with this. You won't see a malak of Yahweh walking like this. Walk like this. Walk like you're made a little lower than an angel. I hope I answered your question, babe. I hope I answered your question. But if not, like I said, if there's something you guys want to add or you want more explanation on, share. Because like I said, y'all willing, we got time. Praise Yahweh. Yes, sir.
I was going to add something to that. Basically, the bad angels, like
They call pause. You know why pausing? What? You gonna add something positive to it?
no, I was just
Or you gonna add something positive to it?
no, I was just going
No, don't mention it. Keep it to yourself. Because every positive thing that's brought out, you're gonna add a negative to it. That's the problem with us. I know some people like, Brother Michael, just let him talk. No, I'm not gonna let him do that. Not now. Because what I want us to realize is we are beautiful. So whatever negativity a person is dealing with, deal with that. Relish in the fact that you're made just a little lower than an angel before we go and want to bring out the negative things. That's what's wrong with us. That's why it seems like the world weighs down on us, because all we want to focus in on is the bad. This is what's wrong. This is what's wrong. This is the problem. Somebody say, you know what? Somebody will say, I like peanut butter cookies. Somebody be like, man, I love peanut butter cookies. And you got somebody be like, yeah, but peanut butter killed a little boy last. Yes, he choked on the peanut butter and the cookies crumbled. And what happened was there was a car accident and 5 people died and a monkey fell out the tree because he had bananas with peanut butter in it. Peanut butter. You be like, but I like peanut butter. Yeah, you can like peanut butter, but it's gonna kill you one day. Can I just have this moment to relish in something that makes me feel good? I guess if all you want to do is feel good, I'm just trying to tell you, be careful of that peanut butter. And that's what we do. And then the next thing you know, you find your spirit. Well, I don't eat peanut butter cookies no more. I like them, but they'll kill you. Come on, man. Come on, people. We're made a little lower than the angels. We should be hallelujah. That's what we should be doing. Not finding, there's some angels that were wicked, that I got this game where there was angels shooting everybody. Like, man, what? Enjoy that fact that Yahweh said we're made just a little lower than an angel. And I apologize, babe, for making your question a point of reference, but I'm glad you brought that out. That should add into and not being arrogant, but loving yourself. Let me tell you something. I know that one thing my wife gets on me about is I always be like, I know I'm not like as fiery as some of the other teachers, and I know, and she'd be like, boy, do what you do. Don't nobody want to listen to you, then guess what? They don't listen. But the thing is that we're hold on to the positive. And you'll notice the more positive we hold on to, you'll start seeing the negative start to fall off. Not that it's not there, it's just not going to be prevalent. Any other comments or questions? And I don't want to deter anyone from asking questions or making comments. I don't want to do that. That's not my job, and that's not what I'm doing. What I'm doing is I want everyone to hold tight to being positive. I know sometimes people might have felt a way about me giving compliments. I love to give compliments. Why? Because it might be, I'm not saying this to be arrogant, but I might be the first person that says anything to you that day that was positive. When you walk out your home, if you got the news on, 3 people murdered. You walk out your door, you got people going down the street. F-U-B, I'm gonna kill you, nigga. Then you get to your job. You know, they don't say nothing to you. Half of them don't speak, they give you attitude. Then you get into a place, they're like, hey, did you get some new shoes? Man, them boots are fire. And you might go, thank you. And that make you feel good. But you know what I'm going to tell you, I also learned about our people. My wife shared this with me too, is that when it comes to positivity, it could be 100 people in the room. You walk in, 99 people will tell you how good you look, but you will concentrate on that one person who told you didn't look good. Bypass the 99 others. Why don't nobody like me? Don't nobody think I'm pretty? Nobody. You just had 99 people tell you how great you are, and you let this little ragamuffin fool tell you you're not beautiful. And you're focused in on that one person who makes up nothing. Nothing. You're going to let go of the majority for a minority. So y'all look good. Because I want you to feel good. I love to see like Marie smile. She has a beautiful smile. Because he gets it from you. You understand? We got some handsome young men in here. I know sometimes people like, Brother Michael be complimenting all the time who he flirting. I ain't flirting with nobody. I can't say you look nice. We like that in Israel. We so hard that if I say you look nice, you look nice. I sat under some great teachers. I still have great teachers in my life. My wife is my peanut butter. She's my peanut butter. She's been my peanut butter since we've been together. That's my wife. I love her. She's beautiful. But I'm also going to let my sisters know how beautiful you are as well. That don't mean I want you. All that means is if it's one thing I want from you, I want you to smile. I want you to know that you're made just to look. Hold on to that fact. So that one day you can't get your hair done, you still feel beautiful. I don't want you to be like, I don't want to go nowhere because I didn't get my hair did. When you came out your mama, you was all headed. Did that take away from you being a beautiful baby? No, because I seen the baby pictures and you ain't have no long hair down here. And you were still a beautiful baby, still gorgeous. Revert back to that. Yes, ma'am.
If I say a sister's got a really sharp outfit or something on it, like I say, really look nice, and I'll make me feel I'm not right.
That's right. That's right. You know what? When I went to the mall the other day, and I went to this store. It's called Good. It's called Good, G-O-O-D. And I bought me a T-shirt. And the girl at the store, she was a young girl. She stood up and was like, "Hey, is there anything you like?" And she handed me a little thing, and I said, "Yeah, I want this T-shirt here." So I bought the T-shirt, and her boss works at the school. She's one of the secretaries in the office. I said, "You know what? I'm gonna tell your boss how good of customer service you gave me." She said, "Oh, well, thank you." Well, she was a pretty young lady, and I went in and I said, "Hey, this girl, I'm not gonna name her name, but I said this girl was X, Y, and Z. She gave beautiful customer service. Just because of that young lady would make me want to go back."
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so yes, throw a compliment before you throw an insult. And if you can't find nothing, listen, find something positive. Let me tell you something. Try this out. Y'all willing tomorrow or this evening, since the sun goes down a little later, when you go into the store, If you see the cashier, she already stressed or he's stressed. Do this. You know what? I like your glasses. Now they might go, thank you, whatever. But in the back of their mind, they like, yes, yes. You know what I'm saying? Try that. Even if the woman looked like, I don't know what. She ain't got no teeth but one. You say, how you get that one so white? I got all of mine. Hey, don't say that. I'm just. But you say, how you, what your two teeth look so beautiful. Your smile. Thank you. Thank you. And you compliment, and you done made their day. You know what I'm saying? If she bald-headed, be like, oh my gosh, what type of oil do you? You know what I mean? You got to be compliment somebody. I'm gonna tell you, if we in Israel just called one another and said, I want to say you look nice today. See how it would change. You know what I love? My wife, Elder Nesha, they send out threads. Praise Yahweh. Moradon did it. Praise Yahweh. Glory be to Yahweh. When y'all type in, praise Yahweh, my beautiful family. Those are uplifting words. And they set the tone for the day. If you ain't got nobody in your house, this is what I would suggest you do. Make a copy of that scripture and put it right next, buy you a little mirror and make it to where when you get out the bed, you facing that mirror. You thank Yahweh and you look in that mirror and you read that verse that says you're made just a little lower than the angel. That is in the book of Psalms, chapter 8, I believe. Let me go there. I think it's either chapter 8. Let me go there real quick. I do believe it's chapter 8, verse 5. Leviticus is Psalms 8 and verse 5. Read that, write that next to a mirror, and you read that. And you say, I'm little Lord, made just a little lower than the angel. And you look in that mirror and you say, Yah made me a little lower than the angels. Yah made me a little lower than an angel. And if you need reinforcement, then you go to Genesis chapter 1, where he said we're made in his image. Those are your two verses. Here, let me get you the exact one. You got Psalms 8 and 5. Then you go to Genesis chapter 1. We might not get to these others. And I ain't even make it past this. You go to Genesis chapter 1 and verse 27, where it says, so Elohim created man in his own image. In the image of Elohim created he him. Male and female created he them. So Genesis 1 and 27, right there with Psalms 8 and 5. Recite those two verses. Look in that mirror. Thank Yahweh, making you beautiful. And then here's the thing. When you put that in your mind, I am beautiful, and carry yourself beautiful. Would someone that's made a little lower than the angels cuss? No, they wouldn't, Brother Michael. And I know some people be like, it's okay to cuss sometimes. Well, I'm a habitual cusser. I've cussed out children. I've cussed out people. I've cussed myself out. But if I really look at myself and say, if I'm made in the image of the Almighty, and he made me a little lower than an angel, what I have to practice is calling someone the B word. Would that be something that is angel-like? Not to say that I am a malak, but is that something that a righteous individual, is that something that a beautiful person would do or say? If I see someone on the street and they're hungry and I got at least a sandwich, and let me say something, and I got a sandwich that ain't been opened, ain't been touched, and or a bag of chips, and say, here, see, that's what somebody that's beautiful would do. I don't have to physically be appealing to you as long as I'm spiritually appealing to the Almighty. But what's going to happen is that mindset that you've made a little lower than the angel, it'll sort of knock out the negative thoughts. Stop thinking that good hair is that curly hair that look like Miss Ann. Now, good hair is what I see right here. That's good hair. This is good hair. I love y'all hair. I love it. I love it. That's why y'all like coming here and be like, Brother Michael, he be on this. He be feeling me. Brother Michael, no. He know I'm a boss out here. You understand? But that's the truth. Feel that way. Love who you love, how Yahweh created you to be. There's nothing wrong with cleaning yourself up too. You know what I mean? Pull your pants up. Show the world that you are made just a little lower than an angel if you have that mindset. You understand? Yes, ma'am.
Our sister Cindy said, shalom means peace, and sometimes without knowing it, when we spread positivity or daily compliment, it's just spreading the harmony is peace.
Praise Yahweh. It's just spreading the shalom. That's right, baby. It's just spreading the shalom. And like Elder gave, as she spoke on about in her presentation, compliment each other. I know some men may feel like, well, if I compliment her, she gonna think she all this. Let her think she all that. That's your woman. Why you want your woman walking around like this unless you an insecure sucker? You a simp. You want to be a simp. You understand? You want to walk around, be, yeah, I'm gonna make you feel, because I want you to know I'm a man. I'm a man when you compliment your wife, let me tell you something. You a man regardless. You can tell her every time, go in there. Your woman at the sink, pop on the bottom. What's up, baby? Let her know you desire her. Come up behind her. You understand? Come up behind her, kiss her behind that neck. Nibble on the ear. Now, let me tell you something. Brush your teeth first, fellas. Don't just get bad breath. She be like, oh, baby, my ear hurt. It's on fire. You don't want that. What you want to do is compliment. Compliment your children. Quit calling them dummies. Yo, dumb A. Yo, stupid A. Yo, goofy A. Look at you, yo, dummy. He might come in there and be like, you might ask him, son, what's 2 + 2? He'd be like, blue. You'd be like, you know what? That's not a number, but you know your color. You brought a positive. Now we need to sit down and teach you your numbers. You're 12. You need to know what 2 + 2 is. You understand? But you know your colors. All we want to do is put each other down. We got babies walking around here thinking they're less than an angel. Not less than human. Let me say that. We got people, adults walking around here thinking they're less than human. Less than human. The Almighty created us to be celestial beings. He created us beautifully. When you look at the earth, maybe stop looking at the earth, and this is an indictment against me. When you look at the earth, when you see the dirt, go, that's me. Not that I'm dirt and ain't worth nothing. No, I'm enriched. Y'all made me from this. And maybe we'll learn to treat our neighborhoods and communities a lot better when you think that way. Maybe I won't be so quick to call you the N-word. That's my end. Maybe I'll show you more love by showing you corrective love instead of trying to get you to do things that's going to take away from your greatness. Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry.
I'm just going to say, when I come in here and I see what your culture outfits on, I say, you look nice.
Praise Yahweh. That makes me feel good too. That makes me feel real good. That makes you feel good. Because for a long time I fought against it. I kind of fought against it. I was like, I can wear what I want to wear. I can wear what I want to wear. Yeah, you can. But then when I started seeing Minister Yoel coming here, Elder Ezekiel and Manessa, and they always wore those cultural garments. But I do remember Minister Yoel though, with them suits.
Oh yeah.
He was fly. He still was fly. But Minister Yoel was super fly. He had his waves in, and oh boy, that boy was a beast. Him and Morey Aaron. But now, when you get to a certain consciousness and you understand something, let me tell you something. in realizing how beautiful you are, it's not just the outer, it's the inner. So realizing that you're made a little less than an angel is going to do what? Are you going to eat everything? No. You're going to be, what's in this? Oh, no, I can't have that. Oh, that's doing what to my blood pressure? Then let me stop. I need to lose weight. In order for me to lose weight, that means I got to cut back on some things because the Almighty made me a little lower than an angel. Any comments or questions? All right. Okay. Thank you for that, babe. So let's go back to Leviticus 15. And let's finish up with that. Leviticus 15. Okay. Go to, now, we dealt with verse 16 to 18. Verse 16 to 18 dealing with the seed of copulation. So yes, fellas, when we get married, because your seed of copulation, I'm just going to be blunt with it. Your seed of copulation should not be on your girlfriend. That's a wifely thing. You know. But that seed of copulation holds power. I did some research on this on semen. It has sugar. It's a mixture of the sugars in your body, and it also has just a little bit of blood in it. And if that happens and you see blood, then that means there's something wrong with it. But it's just a little bit of blood in there. It's in your seed. And the woman's, now, you say, well, is that the case? Okay. What that means is, but you still need the woman in order to formulate and to create offspring, right? If you let your seed just hit the sheets, your sheets don't get pregnant. You just have to keep washing them all the time. And your hands chafe. But when you have that woman, the connection with that woman is her womb. Because a man is not complete without that woman. Because you come from us. So when that womb, when that egg penetrates, it goes through whatever system it's going to go through, and it gets in there. It penetrates one of them eggs or whatever. You know, you have millions of seed that come out. You might just see a little bit from your stance, but it's millions of them within there. And they all try to find their way through. And then only a few of them, while the other ones die off, there are a few of them that actually make it through. And then that's when life begins. So seed is very important. Cherish it. And what I mean by cherishing it, don't be collecting it. I ain't saying you collect it like Brother Michael said, this is special. No, I ain't saying you collected them in bags. What I'm saying is, treat it as such. Now, of course, young men, let me say this, young men, it's going to happen. You're going to have them urges, you know, being respectful to our women in here and to those that are listening. You as a young man, you're going to have them urges. You're going to find yourself in the shower. I'm just being 100. I was your age. You know, I wasn't always this fly. But when cherish your seed, meaning watch who you put it inside of. Treat your seed. You almost have to become a botanist of life. You almost have to become a botanist. You have to make sure that wherever you plant your seed, number one is wife material. That's number one. Don't be planting your seed in a girlfriend. You plant your seed in your wife. I'm just saying, I'm just throwing it out there. Y'all do what y'all do with it. But that's what you do. You plant your seed inside of your wife. And then you be careful who your wife is. Fellas, listen. I don't care how big her rump is or how big her chest is. I don't care about that. Now, those are, I'm not saying go with somebody that's built like a box, but I'm saying, you know what I'm saying? I ain't saying all that. But what I am saying is don't let that be the deciding factor on who you're going to wife. Because as Emma brought out earlier in her presentation, if she's not willing to do those 20 things, If she's not willing to do one of those 20 things, that's a problem. That's a problem to me. So don't be dazzled by how she looking when she bouncing around the place, and don't let that be, oh, I'm gonna marry her. She can't cook, she can't do nothing, she just cute. That's it. She just pretty. So you can just have somebody on your arm, man. She bad, ain't she? Yeah, she bad. She's horrible. She don't cook. She don't do nothing. She don't clean. All she gonna do is stress you out. Be selective and remember, and the only way that you're gonna really be selective is if you realize that you're worth something. Because if you don't realize you're worth something, if you don't realize that you're made just a little bit below an angel, if you don't get that realization in your head, then what's going to end up happening is you're going to allow yourself to just be with anybody. You're going to think, ain't nobody out there for me. Then you're going to start wanting to date other nations. I can imagine how you would be like, boy, bring her. You find him a girl. Y'all find your little girl. Her name is Ann. She just now started wearing shoes. She come in the house. Well, hello there. How are you? I'm from Norwood. How are you? Oh, I just love your little chocolate son. I love him. Yes, I do. She gonna look at you like, honey, go get your grandfather's sword. Go get that. Because you ain't coming in here with that. You ain't coming in here with that. You understand? But when you realize, because let's think about it, when you realize the light that's within you, then others around you will do nothing but that. You want to be selective of your friends? You want quality around you, and I'm being real. You want quality around you? Realize the quality within yourself. Do y'all hear me? Realize the quality within yourself, and then you'll start noticing that you went from having 100 friends to maybe 5 really good ones. And then you'll notice them 5 really good ones. Because there's a couple in my classroom. They're a couple. They're seniors. And I used to be like, man, she treat him so mean. She yells at him. She fusses at him. She treat him like she's mama. But then I watched them yesterday. And this young man, all he wants to do is kind of gallivant around and play. But she's like, we got to do this assignment. Sit down. Did you hear what the teacher said? Sit down. Stop playing. Put the phone away. Take them out your ear. Didn't you hear him say? I was like, she's trying to keep you on track. Marry her. You can deal with the yelling later. She fuss. You can work that out later. But stick with her. Because she don't want no loser. All right, here it comes. Yes, sir. Only positivity, man. Don't be like some, yeah, I heard you, but you know there's some girls out here that'll kill you. Like, I ain't. Only positive, brother.
You can like basically like find a virgin. That's the best way.
Good luck. I'm just facing reality. I know what you're saying, brother. I'm not saying there's anything wrong. Wish you the best. Because finding a virgin is like trying to find a white black person. No, but I know what you're saying. But here's the thing: even if you find a virgin, she might not know that her virginity is actually her virtue, unless she knows that. Before I left school to doing security, there was a young lady that wore a sweatshirt around school. And she said, I'm a virgin and I'm a superstar. And I thought that was the dopest sweatshirt. I'm a virgin and I'm a superstar. See, in a lot of cases, if you're a virgin, they look at you like, oh, you must be gay. You gay because you ain't been with no girl. You're like, no, I ain't gay. I'm selective of where I place my tools. You find you a woman, a young lady who wants to hold on to her virtue. And you know what I'm gonna tell y'all? They ain't all They don't all look like mutt ducks. There's some virgins out there that you be like, you a virgin? You ever met someone so fine and they ain't got no man? You be like, what's wrong with you? Why you ain't got no man? I don't know if y'all deal with that as y'all being young, but I know as an adult, you be like, you how old? You 30? Girl, you flawless. Where your man? You ain't been married? You crazy, ain't you? See, sometimes, but it don't be that. It just be she values herself. I'm going to share something with you guys, and then I'm going to go on. I'm going to share something with y'all. Check this out. I heard this from a pastor, and I thought it was real deep. He said he went shopping, and he said he went to the mall to go buy these Gucci loafers. All right, he wanted to buy these Gucci loafers, right? And everything in the mall was on sale except for Gucci stuff. He said, and I'm gonna tell you guys this too. Y'all want to walk around here with that fake Gucci on? Ain't no Gucci belt $20. I'm just letting you know that right now. All right. But he went in the store and he said, I think he said he asked the sales lady, you know, why y'all don't have sales or something like that? And he said Gucci and Prada, their products don't never have sales on their merchandise. And he said, this is the reason why they don't have sales, because they recognize their worth. Why am I going to cut you a deal to cut into my worth? Why would I cut you a deal? Why would I lessen myself just to make you feel comfortable? Why would I lessen myself to make you feel comfortable? No. When it comes to holding yourself up, have that Gucci mindset, that Prada mindset, that Louis Vuitton mindset. We ain't going on sale. Not this product. And if a product do go on sale, you'll notice it's not the new product. It's something that's been worn and done away with. It's old. That was last year. We got new stuff coming in now. I'm gonna tell you something. I don't know if even during the pandemic, Prada and all them expensive brands, I don't think had sales. And if they did, they sell stuff that was last year. We bringing in new inventory. So even if it does go on sale, you bringing in new inventory, meaning that the inventory is you evolving. Any other questions or comments? All right. Made just a little lower than an angel. Keep that in mind. All right. So go back to Leviticus 15. Now, we read 16 to 18. That was dealing with the seed of copulation. So cherish your seed of copulation. Don't just put it everywhere or on everything. Cherish it. Cherish it. And then verses 19 to 29 is dealing with the woman. We're still in Leviticus 15. From Leviticus 15, from verses 19 to 29, that's dealing with the woman when she's on her uncleanness. Don't sit behind her. Don't lay behind her. It's best to separate. So if a woman is on her uncleanness, it's best that she go in her room and you go in your room. I learned this from my elder. A woman's on her uncleanness, you sleep on the couch. Let her have the bed, because she's dealing with a lot of pain. Let her have the bed. You sleep on the couch. Get you a good air mattress. You can't be away from her. Get you an air mattress and put it at the corner of the bed. Whatever, you know. But yeah. So those are the uncleannesses there. And I read that because we were in Leviticus 5 when it talked about the uncleanness of man. And once it's found that once you find out about the uncleanness, is when you are held accountable for it. because there is a difference between sinning through ignorance and sinning presumptuously. And let's read about that. Turn to the book of Numbers, chapter 15. Numbers 15. We're in Numbers 15 now. Numbers 15 talks about two types of mindsets. Two types of mindsets. One, sinning through ignorance, and two, sinning presumptuously. When you sin through ignorance, the word ignorance is just lack of knowledge. You didn't know. But presumptuous in Hebrew, one of the meanings is arrogant, meaning that you knew it was wrong, but you did it anyway. So we're going to pick up at verse 27. Read verse 27.
15, right?
Yes, sir. Numbers 15, and we're starting at verse 27.
And if a soul sin through ignorance, then he shall bring a she-goat of the first year for a sin offering.
Now, mind you, this is dealing with sinning through ignorance. If you sin through ignorance, that means you had a lack of knowledge. In the book of Numbers 8, when it talks about the Feast of Trumpets, it talks about that as the priest opened the book and read, the people wept. They wept because there were things that were brought out that they didn't know, that they didn't have an understanding. So when you sin through ignorance, that means that had it been different circumstances, what that basically means is when you have your cell phone in your hand and you ain't paying attention to the lesson, put that phone away and get some scriptures. Look at him. He look at snitch. Brother Michael, snitch. Oh man, he put them boys. Brother Michael, them boys. Man, wait till I get his age. I'm gonna push him in the street in his wheelchair. Remember my cell phone? No. But when you sin through ignorance, that means you didn't know. That just means you did not know. You could be forgiven for things you didn't know. Like, for example, I wouldn't recommend this, but I'm very cautious. If I see a woman with a protruding stomach, I don't instantly think she's pregnant. You don't walk up to her and be like, oh, look who having a baby. Oh, you're not pregnant. Oh boy. Oh man. Want to get away? You know them snickers want to get away? That's one of them commercials. Want to get away? Yeah, I do. I want to run and hide. But the thing is, that was ignorant. You didn't know. You understand? You didn't know. You know, that's why it's not good to speak what's on your mind all the time. But you didn't know. You know what I'm saying? But if you knew the woman wasn't pregnant, and you'd be like, girl, when you do, you know I ain't pregnant. I know, but when you do, now you did it presumptuously. That's being arrogant. That's presumptuous. You did it anyway. You understand? You did it anyway. Fat lady. Fat lady ain't pregnant. So there are two different mindsets here. So in verse 27, it deals with sinning through ignorance. You're able to give a sin offering for that because you didn't know. Read verse 28.
And the priest shall make an atonement for the soul that sinneth ignorantly, when he sinneth by ignorance before the Almighty, to make an atonement for him.
Now,
and it shall be done.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
And it shall be forgiven him.
Now, we don't have priests, but is it still good for us to apologize once we find out that was wrong? Like, dang, my bad. I didn't know. You know, like the other day, the lunchroom ladies, I go in there and I joke with them sometimes. Well, this one young lunchroom lady had a bad day. And I went there, she was doing dishes. I said, yeah, when you finish, come do the dishes in my house and get my car ready. And I ain't doing nothing. Y'all ain't going, you do your own dishes. And I was like, She's like, I ain't in the mood today. I'm like, right. The next day she saw me. I saw her. I said, you okay today? She said, yeah, I just had a bad day. I said, okay, why? And then you apologize. I didn't know you were having a bad day. And now that I know that, I'm sorry for joking with you. You understand? You know what I mean? You apologize. You joking with your friends. You be like, yeah, man. Yeah. You joking around and you laughing and stuff like, yeah, on your dead mama, ha. And you be like, yeah, my mama died yesterday. Oh, I did. Oh, man. I apologize. Those are things you do in ignorance. And the Almighty makes an allowance for forgiveness for sins through ignorance. Now, because we don't have a priest and we can't give up a sacrifice, we're still required to ask for forgiveness for ignorance. You offend somebody and you didn't know. They come up to you and be like, man, you was real offensive when you said that to me. And you think back, what did I say? When you made that comment, this is why it offended me. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know that offended you. I apologize. When I said that my fish got shot in the drive-by, I didn't know yours actually did get shot in the drive-by. I'm sorry. Oh, it's cool. Or they might be like, it ain't cool. But that's ignorance. There's room for forgiveness. Being ignorant, it's not a bad thing, but it's not a state you want to stay in. Because there's a lot of things we don't know. Like Elder Minister Yim would say, man, I'm ignorant on fixing cars. That just means it's a lack of knowledge. You just didn't know. Now continue reading. Verse 29.
Ye shall have one law for him that sinneth through ignorance, both for him that is born among the children of Israel, and for stranger that sojourneth among them. But the soul that do out presumptuously.
Do it out presumptuously. You did it on purpose and you knew it was wrong. Continue reading.
Whether he been born in the land or a stranger, the same reapproacheth the Almighty, and the soul shall be cut off from among his people.
Now, reading those verses, what do you notice the difference in? What's the difference between ignorance, sinning through ignorance, and sinning presumptuously? There's something that's a difference there. Yes, sir.
Presumptuously meaning you did it in the middle.
Yeah.
And it's basically you did it and you didn't know.
Good, very good. Now, what about the redemption from being ignorant and presumptuous? Redemption. How you redeem yourself when you presumptuously do something, you cut off. You know what, Israel, we really should not be walking around here with our heads held up high in the sense of arrogancy. Every step, every breath we take, we should appreciate. Why do I say that? Because when you read this, how many of us have sinned knowing that it was wrong, but we did it anyway? Exactly. How many Sabbaths have we messed up, knowing that we shouldn't have done what we did on Yahweh's day, but did it anyway? You understand? Thoughts we done had. Wicked thoughts that we done had. Some of those wicked thoughts we executed. We did. And we're still alive and breathing. Doesn't that show Yahweh's mercy? His compassion for his servant? We've been, let me say something. When I hear songs like I Miss Jerusalem, when people will sing that, I have nothing against the song, I'm just throwing a statement out there. How can you miss something you've never been to? And then if we truly miss going home, why are we still acting like we okay staying here? If I'm tired of being on punishment, because you know what? I don't know if y'all get punished, because I think it's something new with y'all young people now. Well, I got punished. Like it was a punishment for me to stay in the house. But for y'all, that's a blessing. You on punishment. Go outside. Mama, what I do? That's what you hear. What I do? I ain't do nothing. Why I gotta go outside? When I was coming up, you on punishment, no outside. Man. And no TV. Oh. But when you on punishment, let's say your mama say you on punishment for 2 days. That first day is rough. No TV, no outside. It seems like everything that normally happens is just amplified. You hearing laughing. Ah, hey Mike, coming outside. Ah, I can't even open the window to say no. I gotta sit there and listen. They playing my favorite game. I hate them. So that first day is rough. So you get into that second day, you start kind of cozying up to your mama. Unless you got one of the mamas that be like, get off of me. You shouldn't have did what you did. But when the end of that second day comes, you good. You good. You like, I'm trying to get off this punishment. I'm trying to get off this punishment. So what do? You do things you need to do. But have you ever seen someone that was punished and still acted a fool? If you haven't, come to our schools. Come to our schools. Weren't you just suspended? Yeah. And now we're back at it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, dang. You didn't learn nothing from the suspension? You know what I'm saying? You ain't learned nothing. And then you got some that all you got to do is look at them and they be like, oh no, I gotta be, I'm sorry, I won't do it again. And then you got some that be like, I don't care. I don't care. I'm sending you to the principal. I don't care. You get to the principal. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm giving you 3 days. I don't care. I'm giving you 7 days. I don't care. Give me a month. I hate this place. So then you got them people. But the smart ones, they use that time wisely to not, okay, the last time I did that, I got on punishment. I don't want to be on punishment again. So when you sin presumptuously, it's not easily forgiven. But because we're in this particular state now, and I'm not talking about state like Ohio, I'm talking about the state of mind. Because we're in this state right now, if it wasn't for Yahweh's mercy, we deserve to be destroyed. But it's because of his mercy that we're not. Any comments, any questions?
Sister Sydney said, Shalom, if a woman comes on her flowers while she is in Bible class and she's sitting on the same hill as others, do they all have to leave class because they're unclean?
Very good question. The question is, if you're sitting on a pew, that's what those are called, little pews. And let's say the woman becomes unclean and everybody is sitting on the same pew. Does everybody, once you find out, do you have to tell the people, hey, I was unclean? Do they have to get up and leave? Well, let's think about that. I'm going to say yes. You're unclean. You're unclean. Okay, let me get up. Now, some may say, well, why would I do that? We're in a constant state of uncleanness. True. Very true. But if you want to at least try to keep the law, because there's a lot of things we can't do. There's a lot of things we can't get away from, but you want to at least try. That's why if you are, and I can't even say because of the environment we're in, because of the food that we eat, a lot of women really could be in that state of, I didn't know. Because it wasn't I was supposed to come on next week and it happened today. You know what I'm saying? So if she's unclean, most of the time, a woman won't broadcast that. You'll just see her getting up and leaving. Because she don't want to broadcast that. She don't want to be like, hey, y'all, everybody on that pew, I'm unclean. I came on, everybody. You sit right there. You right there. You sat close. They ain't gonna be like, hey, I'm clean. I came on. I'm sorry, minister. I came on. Get up, man. Ain't nobody doing it, man. So you can speculate, but you do want to kind of be like, hey, hey, I did come on today. You call them if you want to call them. Hey, I came on today, so you may want to bathe and clean yourself and stuff like that. That's nothing you can do. But when you find out about, that's where that Leviticus 5:4 comes into play. Or 3, when it talks about once you find out, then you make the necessary steps. But like I said, let me tell you something. Do you know how many people come in the Bible? How many hands we shake and how many people we hug? I'm talking about family members too. It's got running shoes. They ain't telling you. They ain't gonna walk around and be like, hey, I got running shoes. Hey, I got running shoes. Hey, give me a hug. Give me a hug. Hey, I got running shoes. They ain't doing that. They ain't doing that. They hardly want to tell you they got a cold. You hear, like, what's wrong with you? My allergies. But you vomiting. What is it? I got a cold. Full of mucus. You understand? They ain't doing that. But, if you do tell them, you say, hey guys, I just came on my cycle and I was sitting here. So I just want to let you know, if you want to pull somebody to the side, I don't know. I don't know how you would do that. But once they find out, it would be wise for them to get up like, all right, now you made a whole row leave. The whole row getting up like, excuse me, now they doing church. That a whole row gone. Like, she done made the whole damn row gone. You understand? But it would, yeah, if you're keeping the rest of it, if you're keeping the law, but also too, like I said, it's hard for some women to really channel that because sometimes it can just happen. And you'll be like, really? Really? Today? Really? Thanks, Eve. You understand? Was there any other comments or questions? I hope I answered that question, babe. But yeah, it would be good for them. They would have to get up now, let me say this. Now, let's say you're sitting and you feel like something's coming on and you get up and you go to the bathroom and it happens. They might not have to leave because you really didn't come on until when? You went to the bathroom and you found out. What you got to say about that, man? Like, hey, I'm an expert at that. My brother might kill. Actually, what happens is
they might get somebody in the custodian, depending on where.
Do we got a custodian in here?
I mean, no, a janitor,
Do we got a janitor in here?
No.
We talking about Bible class.
Oh, in Bible class?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, we ain't talking about this. Yeah, in Bible class. But you might want to tell people though. If you did come on, you might want to tell people. You might want to if you don't want to tell them that day, you might just want to call them and say, hey, I was unclean. Came on. But you know what though, I'll tell you. Most of us as Israel won't care. You're like, you can't, so? I'm just saying because you have to bathe. And we'd be like, well, I'm unclean anyway. Like we just give up, like we're unclean anyway. Why would I bathe? You little nasty trifling troll. Get your butt in there and take a bath. That's the law. Why? We in the land of uncleanliness. Yeah, but at least try. Try. Okay, well, I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna come over your house and throw dog poop on you. And I bet you take a bath then. But yeah, so that's my answer. It would be good for you to leave, but there's so many different factors that's involved. But then like I said, you have some that may not even care. Anything else? All right. So, any comments or questions on sinning presumptuously, sinning ignorance? Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, like basically like considering. Now, what about without the sacrifices? Because you can't do it. So basically, say if I would have did it presumptuously, sin, right?
Mm-hmm.
Would that like? I mean, well, hold on, let me say it like this:
Mm-hmm.
if I did an ignorant sin,
Mm-hmm.
like as it said in Leviticus 5, like when I know it of it,
Mhm.
then I'll be guilty of it, right? Does it go for that? For every sin? If you get what I'm trying to say, I have a hard time explaining.
Okay. So wait a minute. So what you're saying is, so wait a minute, hold on, okay. So you sinned, you didn't know about it, but once you find out. Well, once you find out, then you have to you have to do what you need to do to try to make restitution for that. You have to atone for that somehow. You have to seek forgiveness. If you found out you sat behind someone that's unclean, you found out about it. The day you found out about it, you do your washing your clothes, bathing your flesh in water, and being unclean unto the evening. You understand? So you take the precautions. Now, the one thing we can't do, of course, is offer up sacrifice. So we can't fully go through the cleansing process, but that's because of us as people and how we sinned against Yahweh. So we can't go through the physical, actual doing of the sacrifices, because that's the final thing, because you have to give an offering up to Yahweh. You understand? So, but turn to the book of Hosea chapter 14. I want to read something. Hosea chapter 14. In the book of Hosea chapter 14, son, we start reading at verse 1 when everyone gets there. Hosea chapter 14.
And that's after what book?
I believe that's after the book of Amos. It's before the book of Joel. No, it's after the book of Daniel. Right before the book of Joel. So go to the book of Daniel, and then
Hosea
14, chapter 14.
Okay. Okay, 14.
Yes, sir. And start reading at verse 1. Hosea 14 and 1.
Hosea 14. O Israel, return unto the Almighty, the Elohim, for thou hast fallen by thy iniquity.
Now, here's the thing. We're in captivity. When we're in captivity, we weren't able to give sacrifices. We weren't able to give sacrifices like we were when we were in our own land. But there was something else that we offered up. Read verse 2.
Take with your word, take with you words, and turn to the Almighty. Say unto him, take away all iniquity, and receive us graciously. So will we render the calves of our lips.
So what that is saying is, we can't give a physical sacrifice. But what we can do is offer up a promise that we're going to change, a promise that we're going to work on things. Now, I know we still going to get punished, but a promise that I won't go this way again. So I'm going to offer you up. Now, this is sort of like a simile, where you're doing a comparison. You're doing your lips to calves. So I'm going to offer up my lips, meaning that my words, I'm going to offer that up as a sacrifice. Not saying that it replaces it. Let me say that. Our words does not replace the sacrifices. But what this is saying is that I'm going to offer up my words. I'm going to offer up my words, and I have to put my words to action. So I'm gonna come to you and I'm gonna say, Yahweh, forgive me for what I've done. I'm sorry. I will not go that way again. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to, Yahweh, please forgive me. I'm not going to go that way again. So I'm going to offer up that. I'm going to offer up that promise to you. So I wanted to read that to show that even though we can't give up a physical sacrifice, we should still be sorrowful for our sins. Whether it's a sin of uncleanness, whether we've lied, whether we've done things against Yahweh's law, of course, all those against Yahweh's law, we still should offer up, and we should still humble ourselves and always ask for forgiveness. Forgive me, Yahweh, for being in a land that's solely unclean. Forgive me, Yahweh, for the impurities that I allow into my life that have been here. Because there are some, let me tell you something, there are some uncleannesses that you just are not going to get away from being in this land. That's the unfortunate thing. Yahweh, please forgive me for my sins of ignorance. Please forgive me for that. But there are things, because even David said he asked for forgiveness for sins of ignorance. Secret faults is what it's called. Forgive me for my secret faults. Forgive me for my ignorance. You understand? Okay. Any other comments or questions? Okay. Well, let's go ahead and I'm going to jump into Genesis chapter 3. And then y'all willing, we'll probably finish up next week. Y'all by his will. All right. But then we'll probably do 3. Finish up with chapter 3 and 4, and then y'all will go into 5. Now, in the book of chapter 2 of Genesis, Adam has a wife named Eve. And she came from man. All right. Something happens in chapter 3 that's going to change the course of our life as we know it. It brought about what we're dealing with today. We're going to read about what happened to cause why women have pain during childbirth, why we as men have to work to the sweat of our brow. It's even going to show why we wear clothes, I'm going to say, before maybe it was time. Could you imagine walking in a room and we all butt naked? And you wouldn't be like, it would be you would be attracted to the person. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna say you wouldn't be, but it would be no different now than if they got on clothes. Could you imagine that? The beauty in it. Just look at it. Imagine some of the teachers naked. And be like, Elijah, turn to this page. Elijah, turn to this. All right, turn to the book of Genesis, chapter 3, and start reading at the first verse. First verse, Genesis chapter 3.
Now the serpent was more subtle.
Now, meaning he was more smooth. He was very smooth. Very, what you would consider sagacious. Go ahead, son.
Then any beast of the field which the Almighty Yahweh had made. And he said unto the woman, yeah, hath Yahweh said, ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden.
Now, in this chapter here, we're going to deal with the word desire. Write down the definition. The word desire in Hebrew is passion, lust, like how you felt about that girl, a craving. You know the one that drove you crazy?
I know.
Okay. No, you can always tell us the truth when you're trying to fight it. No.
Oh, I'm telling you.
I'm messing with you. Look at you about to over-explain. That's how I know it's the truth. No, I'm just saying. No. I love greens. Like, we ain't talking about that. All right. Passion, lust, craving. It's an itch. Desire is an itch. You ever heard that? Come scratch that itch. It's a desire. You used that term before?
Desire.
You need to scratch itch. You need to itch scratch. You looked up when I said itch. You was like, yeah, I like that. It's also a wish. So there's some desire that's going to take place here. So go ahead and go to, okay, so the serpent comes up to the woman. Read verse 2.
And the woman said unto the serpent, we can eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, Yahweh said, ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die.
Now, die. Don't touch it. Those are key phrases. Don't touch it. Die. That's enough for me. Don't touch it and die. Okay, you know what? Don't touch it. Continue reading. Now look how smooth the serpent is. If you've ever watched a snake, how do they move? They move real sagacious, don't they? Especially when they're coming up on their prey, because they smell with their tongue. So when they're licking their tongue out, they're smelling. They're scent, and they move real smooth, like they just, and you be like, real smooth. Yeah, almost hypnotic. Continue reading, verse 3.
But of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, Yahweh has said, ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die. And the serpent said unto the woman, ye shall not surely die, for Yahweh doth know that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil.
Ain't this, think about the serpent and think about the individuals that's in your life that try to talk you out of doing what's good. This serpent goes to her and says, hey, you ain't gonna die. You ain't gonna die. Like this serpent is showing himself to know more than the Almighty. You ain't gonna die. The Almighty just knows that you'll be like him. So in other words, his smooth talk is like, and her naivety, she's very naive, maybe. Because her and Adam are both naive, could be, to his slick tongue. Say, hey, you ain't gonna die. That's just the Almighty way of telling you don't touch the tree. But you ain't gonna die. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stop there. And then we're gonna pick Yah willing this up next week. I'm gonna read a poem that Yah blessed me with. And then I'm gonna answer any questions or anything. Praise Yahweh. Broken, praise Yahweh. Broken, but not destroyed. Healed by mercy, I am made whole. Rest in Yahweh's will and become whole. For he gives his servants strength to lie down their burdens at wayside. Aim for his love and never miss the mark. Praise Yahweh. Are there any comments or questions? Here, son, you take this one too. Praise Yahweh. Any questions or comments? Thank you, son. Thank you. Okay, good. All right. So, God willing, we will pick up at Genesis 3 again and dive into this. And then we'll probably go into 3, 4, and 5. All right. I want to first thank the listening audience for your support. I want to thank you for your wisdom. I want to thank you for sharing your testimonies. I want to thank Imanesha for her presentation on the guidelines of a good woman, a good wife. And I love the fact that she didn't just get on the wife either. She also incorporated the husband too. Husbands. And I'm glad she did that, because sometimes us as husbands, we'll get to the point where we think we're bigger than the son. You know, we'll be like, you the woman, you the woman, you gotta be this. No. So, with that being said, you ready? You're gonna pray us out. So with that being said, our man's gonna pray us out. Let us face the east.
Shema,
Shema,
Israel,
Israel,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Eloheinu,
Eloheinu,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Akkad,
Akkad.
Hear Israel, Yahweh Elohim, Yahweh is one. Let Yahweh bless thee and keep thee. Let his face shine upon us and be gracious unto us. Let Yahweh make us go through this great, good Sabbath and let us get home safe. And praise Yah. Hallelujah.
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 Praise
the mighty Yah. Yah is righteous.
Yah is holy, and let Yahweh be magnified. Amen.
All right. Well, thank you for tuning in with us. Thank you for your support. Like I said, y'all willing, next week, Elijah him a sequin shirt. And he's gonna stand up here and he's gonna do the Bojangles. No, I'm kidding. I don't do Bojangles. Okay. Okay. So what we're going to do is, if you have any questions during the course of the week, please send them in. And if you have sent them in through our Facebook page, please forgive me for not going on there. I gotta get my time organized better so I can answer your questions or either make them a lesson y'all willing for next week. But I want to thank my brothers, the young lions, for coming in and helping and being just a great asset to the class. Singing, jumping on the internet, being my readers. I want to thank Elijah for being my reader. You know, I appreciate you, brothers. Y'all bless. Y'all bless. So with that being said, may Yah bless you. May he keep us and may he bless us. And always remember Genesis 1:27, that we're made in Yahweh's image, and Psalms 85, that he created us just a little lower than the angels. Let that be the guiding light for us to become better and to do better. May Yah bless us and keep us. Praise Yahweh. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.